Welcome to Spirit Speaks. I'm your host, Lisa Virtue, and we're back for more tidbits from Source from the Afterlife with Nanci Danison, who is so graciously offering us all these pearls of wisdom that she learned during her near-death experience. Welcome back to the show, Nanci.
Thank you, Lisa.
So we've been covering a list of questions that you asked Source when you first arrived in the afterlife, and we've got to the ones about, where is heaven and where is hell? What did you find out about that?
Heaven is not a place. I think the best description of what humans call heaven, from my perspective, having been there, is it's the incarnation phase of the afterlife. I learned in the afterlife that, just like how humans have, stages of life, childhood, adolescence, adulthood, senior status, we have stages or phases of the afterlife. Source creates us as a soul, for lack of a better term, and we start out in different phases of afterlife, learning different things, and then we eventually get to what I call the incarnation phase, where we can choose whether we want to incarnate or not, and how long and when to stop. But after the incarnation phase, I don't think humans are aware that there are other stages beyond incarnation. I think that all of the communications that people have with what they call guides and with people, going through mediums and all that, that's all taking place in the incarnation phase of the afterlife. After that, I experienced, there's nothing even remotely like it on Earth, but I would call it a virtual reality stage or phase of the afterlife, where I no longer felt like I had any kind of physical form. Like in the incarnation stage, I felt like I was kind of like this shaped,
like a being of
light. Yeah, light being, or beings of energy is what I was calling them when I was actually there. That all goes away, and I realized that I was just a mental, an intellectual, an emotional mind, for lack of a better word. And I was able to merge my energy into the energy of one of my 5 light being friends who had been with me through this experience. And they told me that I had to get used to this idea of merging energy in order to go on to the next phase of afterlife. And I literally combined my energy with theirs one at a time. And after I got good at it, I was doing all 5 of them at once. But, I started out with just doing one at a time. And while I was inside the energy of one of my friends, I could relive any or all of the physical lives that they had lived.
Wow.
And I could do it either as them or as me, living a completely different life that I'd never physically lived.
Wow.
I could sit back and watch it, or I could participate in it. I could jump in and out of lives. And when I started doing this, I realized this is what my light being friends were doing during my life review. They were jumping in and out of the scenes of my physical life as Nanci by merging their energy into mine. And they were old pros at doing this. So I over and over, I merged my energy into one of my light being friends, and then I started doing 2 at a time, and then 3 at a time, and then 4 at a time, and then all 5 of them merging. And it's way more mind-blowing than anything that anybody's ever fantasized about heaven, because it's being me and being them at the same time. I mean, you talk about getting close to somebody. Being inside them.
Right, you are them.
Yeah, you are them.
Wow.
It was just amazing. And the lives that they had lived was just amazing.
So when you're saying that you could participate in their life, witnessing what they've done or participating, is it like you're just having another lifetime then?
Yeah, kind of.
Or how would that differ from like this life that you're living?
It was completely different because most of their lifetimes, I don't remember all the lifetimes they had, but most of them were on other, what we would call other planets
Yeah.
and other parts of the universe.
Ah,
I don't think I ever lived like everything exists all at once in the afterlife. There's no past, present, and future.
right.
And so when I was merging into them and reliving some of their lives, it was all right now. And
Mm,
so I don't know whether I lived any of their entire physical lifetime
right.
because it was all right now.
Right. I was just the other day I was channeling for a client, and Spirit referred to, I thought they were about to say the timeline, and they said the time field. They said it's not really a timeline, it's a time field. I thought, oh, that's a very cool way to put it. And this makes sense of it that way.
Then after that, after that virtual reality stage or phase, I was aware that there were other stages. I mean, I could like kind of see them off in my periphery, but I didn't go there. And while I was in the incarnation phase, I was aware of having been there before, and I watched, one of my decision to incarnate into Nanci. And I remembered what that was like. But then after the virtual reality phase, I kind of skipped some phases, and I went right to the poor way of referring to it as merging into source. It's not really merger, it's waking up. It's just like when you wake up in the morning, you don't merge your dream characters into you. They are you.
Right.
So when you are finished with all the phases of eternal life,
All the
you
exploring.
all the exploring, you reawaken, and I reawakened to the knowledge that I'm source and that I have been playing a role that I designed for myself. Um, that and that role, that soul, incarnated into many, 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 many lifetimes, but never really left my own mind.
Mm. So would you say like you woke up like as if from the dream, let's use the dream analogy. You woke up from the dream and then went, "Oh, I'd really like to explore this aspect of that dream." And so boom, back you came?
I don't remember whether we awaken as source between every incarnation or just at the end of our phases of eternal life. I've read near-death experience accounts where those people said that they awakened as source in between incarnations. I got the sense that I only awakened as source after completing all of my adventures in thinking I was a separate being. And that might be because I'm really slow at getting this stuff. I'm really slow in emotional growth and enlightenment. So it probably took me a whole lot longer than other people to get to this stage.
But it's all perfect.
It was perfect for me.
Yeah, yeah. This is, oh, just before we wrap up, what about hell? People have a vision that there's, well, I guess different visions of what hell is or if it exists or not. You've told us all this beautiful stuff about what we would call heaven. Is there a hell, or what did you learn about that aspect of what we're thinking of
Well,
here?
some days I think hell is right here in good old Columbus, Ohio, USA. But I actually learned in the afterlife that there's no hell, there's no devil, there's no Satan, there's no eternal punishment, and that's because Source created us in its mind, and it created us souls, its extensions of itself, to experience physical life. Why would it want to punish us for doing what we were created to do? We souls were given free will to explore physical life in any way that we can imagine it unfolding. And there's no punishment for that. And I saw, while I was in the afterlife, I relived creating the universe as source. I remembered it as source. I watched it as Nanci, and I got these little, like, TV chyrons, the little strips that run of information that run along the bottom of the TV screen. I
Right.
got little, things like that, and I got like telepathy explaining things to me all at the same time. So while I was reliving and remembering creation of the universe, I saw that there wasn't any devil or any hell. Source never created one.
Well, that's obviously, I find that fantastic and have thought that all along. I know that there's lots of people who have strong faith in their religions and really vehemently believe that, Satan takes over or there is a punishment of some kind. What would you say to that, or how would you um, contextualize that for them?
The way I understand it from the afterlife is that we souls manifest into physical reality, into what our human host experiences as physical reality, what we, the soul, truly and deeply believe about ourselves, about life, about our place in the world. And we start forming those beliefs in utero and as little tiny babies and as, children before the age of reason, and the rest of our lives. And so we form these beliefs from what people tell us, from what we hear and what we observe and what we are taught. And most people who have religious beliefs were taught those beliefs as a very young child before they had any ability to, research or examine or reason things through. We swallow what we experience whole and believe all of it, and believe all of it's normal. And that's why, little tiny children can think it's normal to be abused, and little tiny children can think it's normal to, have any kind of a life, because whatever we experience, that's what's normal for us.
Yeah, that's all we know.
Yeah, it's all we know. And so it's normal for people to believe that there's a hell and that there's a devil and that they're going to be punished, because they were indoctrinated with religions that taught those principles. Those religions were created by souls who thought they were humans, so they were using human logic, and they created the religion in the form of human experience. And humans punish each other.
Yes.
Humans create hell for each other. Humans are going to be devils to each other. And so these religions reflect human life, but cast it in terms of its part of the afterlife. And when you truly and deeply believe that there's a hell, you will manifest that into your own life. And that's why there are near-death experiencers who experienced hell when they left their bodies. They manifested it for themselves. It's not permanent. I said on another video, there are some things that are true whether you believe them or not.
Mm-hmm.
Hell is one of those things that is true only if you believe it. It doesn't exist in reality, but it can exist in experience. And that's why I encourage everyone to examine their beliefs as an adult.
Right.
Bring them out into the light of day and research them and think them through and read and become enlightened and see whether it really fits with who you are as an adult, or whether it's holding you back from living the life that you could be living.
And so it's like it's an experience, if that is your belief and that's what you're manifesting, it's one of those experiences your soul has come to investigate and to experience, but ultimately it doesn't continue forever. It is just one small portion of the experience of your soul in this incarnation, and maybe even a bit into the first part of crossing over. But at some point, you'll move on into what we would call more heavenly experiences.
Yeah, we all eventually see the light. The light's always there. The light is the way humans perceive Source's energy, Source's unconditional love. And it's always there. It's there right now. It surrounds us. We're just not aware of it.
We're right in the middle of it. It's just how much we've woken up to remembering or to perceiving it.
Yeah, and how much we're tuning into it in the moment. And that same thing is true for near-death experiencers who experience hell. As soon as they tune out that experience and tune into the light, the experience will fall away.
Right. It just dissolves like a bad dream.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much, Nanci, for enlightening us on all of this. I'm so appreciative. We'll be doing more short videos again at some point I'll be in a different location. I'm in British Columbia right now. I'll probably be back in Costa Rica for the next set in our series. Love you so much. Just really enjoy these conversations. So thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. I love you too. And I love the work that you're doing. I really appreciate it. I'm honored to be a part.
Thank you. All right. I will see you again next time, and I will see everybody again on our next installment. And don't forget to click subscribe and like and hit the bell so that you can be informed right away when the next videos come out. We appreciate all of you as well. We're all in this journey together, so thank you for being part of it. Until next time.